You see, God's plan for your life isn't limited to a paycheck or a job title. He didn't create you just to survive Monday to Friday. He created you to impact, to build, to shine His light in ways only you can. Maybe you lost your job or the promotion didn't come. Don't see that as rejection. See it as redirection. When something doesn't go your way, it's not because you're unqualified. It's because God is qualifying you for something bigger. Moses wasn't hired, he was called. David wasn't promoted, he was anointed. Sometimes God will close earthly doors to push you toward your divine destiny. Your purpose may not be in someone else's company. It might be in the vision He placed inside you. So stop asking, God, why me? And start saying, God, use me. The waiting season is not wasted, it's preparation. God is shaping your heart for the platform He's about to give you. Closed doors are divine redirections, not rejections. Many times when we face disappointment, when a job doesn't work out, when a dream seems delayed, or when a relationship ends, our natural response is to feel rejected. We think, God, why did this happen to me? We assume that what didn't work out means that we failed or that God has forgotten us. But in truth, every closed door is a message from heaven, a sign that God is leading us to something better, something higher, something that fits His divine design for our lives. When one opportunity shuts down, it's easy to feel like we're losing ground. But God never closes a door without having another one prepared. He is not punishing you, He is protecting you. You might have been ready for that job, but maybe that environment would have drained your spirit. You might have wanted that connection, but God saw that it would pull you away from your purpose. Sometimes He closes a door because He knows what's behind it, and He loves you too much to let you settle for less than His best. Think of Joseph in the Bible. He was sold by his brothers, falsely accused and thrown into prison. To anyone looking from the outside, it looked like rejection upon rejection. But each closed door was actually God redirecting him, from the pit, to Potiphar's house, to prison, and finally to the palace. What looked like a series of failures was actually divine positioning. God was shaping Joseph's character for the great assignment ahead. If Joseph had stayed comfortable in his father's house, he would never have reached his destiny. The same is true for you. The job you didn't get, the opportunity that slipped away, the plan that didn't go your way, none of it is wasted. God is using it to guide you toward the place where your gifts will shine the brightest. When you face a closed door, don't let frustration fill your heart. Instead, lift your hands and say, "Thank you, Lord, for protecting me from what wasn't meant for me." Faith means trusting that even when you can't see the path, the one who leads you knows exactly where He's taking you. Sometimes the reason a door closes is because your purpose is too big to fit behind it. God doesn't want you to be contained. He wants you to expand. You may have been praying for a position, but God is preparing you for a platform. You wanted a salary, but He's shaping you to be a source. There are seasons when God withholds what you want so He can give you what you were born for. His ways are higher than ours, and His timing is perfect. A closed door is not a dead end, it's a detour to destiny. When you stop chasing what God has already shut, you create space for what He is about to open. You must learn to trust the pauses and the delays. Every no from man is making room for God's yes. He sees the full picture. What feels like a step backward is often preparation for a greater leap forward. When God redirects you, it's not because you're unworthy. It's because He's getting you ready for something that requires a stronger, wiser, and more mature version of you. In moments of disappointment, remember this: your rejection is often someone else's protection, but your redirection is always God's correction. He knows where your gifts will grow best. He knows the people who need your light. He knows the right season for your promotion. You might not see it now, but one day you look back and say, "Lord, thank you for not letting that door open. It wasn't for me." Keep walking, keep believing, and keep praising through the closed doors. They are not meant to stop you but to steer you. God's hand is upon your life, and His purpose will prevail. So instead of mourning over what didn't work out, celebrate the new direction He is taking you in. The door that closed was simply heaven's way of saying, "You're meant for more." You're not unemployed, you're under preparation. When you find yourself in a season where nothing seems to move forward, when applications go unanswered and opportunities seem out of reach, it's easy to believe that you're forgotten or left behind. But the truth is, God never wastes a season. What you see as waiting, heaven calls preparation. You may not have a job title right now, but you have an assignment. God is shaping you, training you, and building something powerful within you that cannot be rushed. Every person God used in the Bible went through a period of preparation before stepping into purpose. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he ever stood before Pharaoh. David was tending sheep long before he held a crown. Even Jesus spent years in quiet growth before beginning his ministry. These seasons of stillness are not empty, they are sacred. God hides you when He's preparing you. He keeps you out of certain places, away from certain people, and even behind closed doors, so that when the right time comes, you'll be ready, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Sometimes God will remove you from the familiar to refine your faith. You might wonder why the doors you expected to open have stayed shut, but God is working behind the scenes. He's teaching you patience, building endurance, and strengthening your trust in Him. If He allowed you to step into your destiny too soon, you might not be ready to handle it. Preparation seasons teach you to depend on God, not people. They train your spirit to hear His voice above all others. You may feel overlooked, but heaven hasn't forgotten you. While you're waiting, God is setting divine connections in motion. The opportunities that will matter most are being formed right now, beyond what you can see. You're not stuck. You're being equipped. God's preparation often looks like pause, but it's progress disguised. Every lesson you're learning, every challenge you're facing, every tear you've cried, they are all part of your training ground. Think about how a seed grows. Before it rises, it is buried in darkness, hidden, unseen, and surrounded by pressure. But in that darkness, roots are forming. Growth is happening beneath the surface. The seed doesn't complain, it just trusts the process. Likewise, God sometimes allows you to be buried in seasons of waiting, not to punish you, but to prepare you for greater fruitfulness. You're not forgotten. You're being developed. This time of preparation is where God teaches you the habits, humility, and discipline you'll need for your next chapter. The character you build in the waiting will sustain the blessing when it arrives. Don't despise the quiet days or the empty calendar. Every prayer you whisper, every step of faith you take, every act of obedience, they are shaping your destiny. When you see others being promoted, don't compare your journey. Everyone's timeline is different because everyone's purpose is different. God might be taking longer with you because He's building something larger through you. You can't rush divine timing. What He's preparing you for requires a foundation strong enough to carry His promise. A skyscraper takes longer to build than a small house, but its impact reaches higher. So, while others may see you as unemployed, heaven sees you as under construction. God is polishing your gifts, stretching your faith, and aligning your heart. You are being prepared for divine assignments that will not only bless you but also bless others through you. Don't be discouraged by how things look right now. The delay doesn't mean denial, it means development. When the time is right, the opportunities will come effortlessly. What once seemed impossible will suddenly make sense. Doors will open, people will call, and everything will align because you were faithful during your preparation. Remember, God's promotion always follows preparation. Your job right now is to stay faithful, stay teachable, and stay close to Him. You're not unemployed, you're being refined, trained, and strengthened for your calling. The season you're in is not a step backward. It's a divine setup for what's next. God is not late. He's just perfecting His masterpiece, and that masterpiece is you. God's plan is greater than any human opportunity. So often in life, we chase after what looks good, what seems right, or what feels within reach. We send out resumes, pursue dreams, and hope certain doors will open. But when they don't, we feel disappointed, even abandoned. Yet, what we often forget is that human opportunity is limited, but divine purpose is limitless. God doesn't measure your life by the standards of this world. He isn't confined by what's available or who is hiring. His plan for you goes far beyond what any person could ever offer. Human opportunities can open a door, but only God's plan can sustain you once you walk through it. A job may give you income, but God's purpose gives you impact. People may promote you, but God positions you. Sometimes the doors you're trying so hard to open are too small for what God intends to do in your life. You're asking for something temporary, while He's preparing something eternal. His vision for your future is so much greater than your current understanding. Think of Abraham. God told him to leave everything familiar and go to a land He would show him. There was no map, no job offer, no guarantee, only a promise. Abraham's obedience opened a generational blessing that no human opportunity could have matched. The same God who called Abraham is calling you to trust his plan. What you may think is a delay is really divine direction. What you think is rejection may simply be God protecting you from something smaller than his vision for you. When God has a plan for your life, no person, no system, no closed door can stop it. Human opportunities can be lost, but divine purpose cannot. You might feel like you missed your chance, but God never runs out of chances. He can create a position for you where none existed. He can make a way in the wilderness and bring water out of a rock. His plan doesn't depend on human approval. It depends on your faith and obedience. We live in a world that teaches us to depend on what we can see, to chase after what others call success. But God's plan often looks different. Sometimes he takes you through seasons of silence, testing, or waiting so that when the opportunity finally comes, you're prepared not just to receive it, but to handle it with wisdom. Human success can elevate your name. Divine purpose glorifies his name. That's the difference. When doors close, don't panic. When people walk away, don't fear. God's plan still stands. He is orchestrating connections and opportunities that you can't yet see. While you're worrying about what's not happening, he's already setting up what's about to happen. Remember Joseph, sold by his brothers, imprisoned unjustly, forgotten by men, yet in one divine moment, God lifted him from the prison to the palace. No human hand could have orchestrated that. It was pure divine timing. You may be in a season where it feels like everything is on hold, but just because it's hidden doesn't mean it's not happening. God is working behind the scenes, aligning every piece of your story with precision. The opportunity that comes from him will carry peace, purpose, and provision. You won't have to force it, it will flow. His plan doesn't compete. It completes. When you walk in it, things fall into place in ways that make you realize, only God could have done this. Don't settle for what looks convenient when God is preparing what's extraordinary. The world may offer you something now, but if it's not aligned with his purpose, it will not last. God's plan is not about getting you to a comfortable place, it's about bringing you to your calling. What he's preparing for you may take time, but it will be worth every moment of waiting. So if you've been praying and things still seem uncertain, trust that God's plan hasn't failed. It's unfolding. Human opportunities may open doors, but God opens destinies. His plan will not only bless you, but also make you a blessing to others. Stay faithful, stay patient, and keep believing. The same God who started your story will finish it with glory, because his plan for your life is greater than any opportunity the world could ever give. Faith turns waiting seasons into launching seasons. When life seems still, when your prayers feel unanswered, and when you're stuck between what God promised and what you see, that's when faith is tested the most. Waiting is never easy, but in God's kingdom, waiting is never wasted. The delay you're facing is not a denial, it's divine preparation. God uses seasons of waiting to strengthen your faith, refine your heart, and position you for what's ahead. What you call waiting, heaven calls training. Faith doesn't just sit and wish for something to happen. It stands firm, believing that even when nothing moves, God is still working. True faith isn't proven when everything is going well. It's proven when you have every reason to give up and still choose to trust. Waiting becomes powerful when you understand that God is developing you while you're standing still. He's teaching you to depend on his timing, not your timeline. Think of Noah building the ark. He waited years before the rain ever came, yet he never stopped building. That's faith in action. Faith doesn't quit when results don't show up immediately. It keeps moving, trusting that God's word will come to pass. The waiting season tests your patience, but it also proves your preparation. Every great move of God is birthed out of a season of stillness. David waited before becoming king, Joseph waited in prison, and even Jesus waited until the appointed time to begin his ministry. God always uses the waiting room as the launching pad. When you have faith in the waiting, your attitude changes. Instead of asking, "How long?" you start saying, "Lord, prepare me." You stop focusing on the clock and start focusing on your character. Faith helps you see beyond the silence. You begin to realize that while you're waiting, God is building something in you that can't be shaken. He's stretching your trust, deepening your prayer life, and purifying your motives. You can't be launched into destiny without first being anchored in faith. Waiting seasons are where God trains warriors. They are the places where dreams are tested, where patience is forged, and where purpose is proven. Sometimes God delays the visible blessing because He's working on the invisible foundation. He knows that launching you too soon could break you. So He lets you grow in the shadows until your faith is strong enough to handle the spotlight. The deeper your roots go in faith, the higher you can rise in purpose. When you walk by faith, you learn that progress doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes progress is God teaching you endurance. Sometimes it's learning to trust when doors remain closed. Every prayer you pray in the waiting, every tear you shed, every moment you keep going when it would be easier to quit, all of it counts. Heaven sees it and heaven rewards it. Faith is what turns your waiting into preparation, and your preparation into promotion. Don't despise the season you're in. What you see as delay is often divine strategy. God is not late. He's perfecting. He's aligning people, timing, and resources for your next step. The launching season is coming, but you must be ready for it. The level of faith you build now will determine how far you can go later. Waiting is God's way of strengthening your spiritual muscles, so that when He finally says, "Go," you'll soar and not stumble. When you finally step into what you've been praying for, you'll understand why the waiting took so long. The things that once frustrated you will make sense because they were shaping you. Faith transforms the waiting into worship. It shifts your perspective from, "I'm stuck," to, "I'm being sent." You'll realize that every silent day was a step toward destiny, every delay was a divine setup, and every prayer was preparing you for launch. So hold on in faith, keep trusting even when it hurts, keep praying even when it's quiet, keep believing even when nothing changes. Because faith doesn't just survive the waiting, it transforms it. The season you're in is not a pause, it's a process. And when God says the word, what felt like waiting will become your moment of launching. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where God is taking you. And your faith will make the launch unstoppable. Walk in purpose. The right assignment will find you. Too many people spend their lives chasing opportunities instead of discovering who they are in God. They run after jobs, recognition, and approval, hoping to feel fulfilled, yet they still end up empty. That's because true satisfaction doesn't come from chasing opportunities, it comes from walking in purpose. When you walk in the path God designed for you, you won't have to beg for doors to open. The right doors will find you. Purpose attracts what is meant for you. God created you intentionally, you are not a mistake, and your life is not random. Before you were even born, He wrote your story and placed within you gifts, passions, and a unique calling that no one else can fulfill. When you live by purpose, you align yourself with that divine design. You stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on becoming the person God created you to be. The moment you start walking in purpose, everything begins to shift. Your peace grows, your clarity returns, and the right people and opportunities begin to cross your path effortlessly. The problem is, many people wait for the perfect opportunity before they move. They say, "Once I get the job, I'll serve," or "Once I have more resources, I'll obey." But God doesn't bless hesitation, He blesses faith. You don't need everything figured out before you step forward. Just start where you are. Use what's in your hand. Speak the word, serve someone, build something small, share your gift. And as you move, God will guide. Purpose is not discovered in sitting still, it's revealed in obedience. Think of David. He didn't wait to be crowned before acting like a king. He served faithfully as a shepherd, and it was in that field, not the palace, that God found him. When you walk in purpose, your environment doesn't define you, your faith does. The assignment God has for you won't miss you when you're walking faithfully in what's before you. Keep your heart right, your spirit humble, and your hands diligent, and God will lead the right opportunities straight to you. Walking in purpose means trusting that you are exactly where you need to be for this season. You may not understand everything, but God does. Every small task, every unnoticed effort, every hidden season is preparing you for something greater. Don't underestimate the power of quiet obedience. God often promotes people who are faithful in the unseen. When you keep showing up with excellence even when no one applauds, heaven is watching, and your assignment is being prepared. Purpose isn't about doing what's popular, it's about doing what's eternal. When you live by purpose, you won't chase after validation because you'll know who sent you. You'll stop striving to fit into places God never called you to. You'll realize that your worth is not defined by a title or a paycheck, but by the calling on your life. The right assignment will find you when your heart is focused on serving, not on striving. Sometimes God hides you before He reveals you. He keeps you in places where your potential is growing quietly. You may wonder why no one sees what you can do, but God is using that season to mature you. He's building patience, humility, and wisdom, qualities you'll need when your assignment finally appears. The right assignment requires the right version of you. When you become the person prepared for the purpose, the opportunity aligns naturally. You don't have to force what's divine. What comes from God will come with peace, not pressure. When you walk in purpose, your steps are ordered. You won't have to manipulate situations or chase recognition. God will cause the right people to notice you at the right time. What's meant for you won't pass you by. It's already marked with your name. So, keep walking in purpose even when the path feels uncertain. Keep believing, keep building, keep trusting. Don't run after things, run after God. And everything meant for you will run after you. The right assignment will not need to be forced. It will find you when your heart is aligned with heaven. You don't need to search endlessly for success. Just walk faithfully in who God made you to be. And when the time is right, your purpose and your assignment will meet perfectly, not by accident, but by divine appointment.